From a most fundamental standpoint, without healthy waterways, we can't exist. We're interconnected with everything that lives in the water. So without protecting and doing the most we can to help those other animals and plants thrive, we're not going to thrive. I wanted to try and find a more holistic way to help salmon by just helping waterways in general. Through a series of events, I was able to connect with some friends and start a business called EarthViews. Took imagery that were utilized by agencies to help better understand the conditions of the habitat and the areas that they were trying to restore and protect. And when COVID hit, everything stopped. And so at that point, I decided to just throw a camera on my kayak and start mapping the shoreline of Puget Sound. At that point, I stepped away from the company EarthViews and started EarthViews Conservation Society. And during that period, some folks here in Washington State had taken what I was doing on Puget Sound and created a bill in the Senate to have surface level 360 imagery taken for the entire Puget Sound every 2 years. The bill finally passed in March of 2023. First round of mapping, we did over 2,500 miles of the shoreline of Puget Sound. And when I say mapping, we utilize a 360 camera on a kayak, 8 feet off the water. The camera takes a picture every 10 seconds. And then with our software, we stitch those pictures together in a way that allows you to click through the imagery as you would if you were doing street views. We're not just flying by in a helicopter, because none of that creates the intimate experience when you're able to navigate in the street view style sense. And that's really important for us. We want people to have an intuitive experience when they come to our maps, because it's not just agencies and scientists who are using this. It's also really important for everyday folks to just be able to go out and experience the waterway.
It is crazy that we've had somebody that's gone around the whole sound. This is absolutely groundbreakingly awesome in this day and age.
If you want to know at my core why I do it, it's because it's really peaceful to be on the water. It resonates with my soul. As soon as I sit down in the kayak or get on the boat and start getting out on the water, I'm at my happiest place. A lot of times people are like, oh, I wish I had your job. Yeah. At the time I think, yeah, I have this great job, this is wonderful. But then, 6 hours later, when I'm like all stiff and trying to get out of the kayak, and then I still got to haul it up to the truck and tie it down and drive back. I'm still 4 hours away from home in my bed. Anything good, that's worth doing usually requires a lot of work, and this certainly does. It's a monumental task. I'm not doing it by myself, obviously. We have a crew of 3 to 5 people. We drop people off, they map for about 10 miles or anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. We have to do this between the exact right tide window, without wind that's over 10 miles an hour and without any rain. Over the course of any given survey period, on average, we're gonna have about 230 workable days. The hazards under the water are many. There's all kinds of rocks and hazards that poke up out of the water that you have to be able to see.
That will not be the last time we hit ground. So you're constantly avoiding hazards. The kayak, it bounces off of them. Well, when you're running the prow, it's a constant stress. All day you're just looking over the bow, waiting for the next rock, the next hazard to ruin your day. Make sure it's there. Make sure that the GPS information is there. Bonus, the data is good.
This data has become really important for lots of folks who are working to restore and recover Puget Sound.
There's so much data to find in there. We're going to see places that are burdened by industrial pollution. We're going to see derelict vessels. We're going to see floating docks based on styrofoam straight out of the 80s and the 70s. We're going to see places that have threats from armoring.
One of the reasons bank armoring is a big problem is because it intercepts the water-land interface. And when the water interacts with the logs, it's important habitat for fish. The sand on the beach is replenished by being eroded off the cliffs. Eliminate that interface, the habitat disappears, The sand erodes away, the herring no longer have spawning beds, the eelgrass doesn't have a place to grow. All you have is rocks and barnacles, and you can see that along many areas of Puget Sound. People don't connect to charts and graphs the way they connect to actually seeing what the problems are.
Getting eyes on the waterfront is one of the most fundamental things that we can do to help connect people with their waterways. Whether it's every 2 years or whether it's every 2 months, we need more of this information out there. I don't want Brian to step foot on land again until he retires, because this work must continue.
That's why I'm out here. That's the answer. You know, I'm out here to show people, hopefully to let people see where the problems are and where the goodness is.
This is the kind of adventure that I think reconnects a community, a sound-wide community, to our waters.
You know, we have a saying that says, see it, protect it, right? And we believe wholeheartedly that if you don't have an attachment to Puget Sound, if you come on this map and you start exploring, you're gonna want to have a greater connection to Puget Sound. Maybe it'll get you to get a kayak, maybe it'll get you to go to the beach more. If you nurture that connection, then we get back to answering your question about why will people care? Maybe they'll start to care once they form some kind of intimate connection with the waterway.
Watch CityStream Tuesday nights at 7 on the Seattle channel, or find us anytime online at seattle.gov.